Hello everybody and welcome to another Fringe reaction. This is season 2 episode 14 and I don't know what it's called because I didn't look it up. Let's call it by the very first scene that we see, which is Let Them Eat Cake. I don't know what it's called. Last episode we had a virus, a zombie virus that was infecting everyone, and it could have been a massive pandemic. When was this written? This was averted, but not without cost. And now we're going to go into episode 15. There are a lot of things that have happened in the last 6 or so episodes that I haven't talked about, and I'm saving it up for a big ramble on some episode at some point. At some point, there's going to be a massive intro where I'm going to be discussing all these points, but that time is not right yet. Okay then, so without further ado, season 2, episode 14, here we go. One, two, three, go. No, that didn't work. 1, 2, 3, go. Pachelbel's Cannon.
Sound check, Milton Stoller wedding.
Lynn,
Who's he?
who is that man?
I don't know, must be from Shelley's side.
No, where's your inhaler? Where is it?
Oh, good grief, he's nervous.
Just give us a few minutes. Sorry. It's okay. It's okay. I can safely say David is not going to run. So just ready, hang tight. Be fine. He just had a little bit of an attack.
What's wrong, Nana?
It can't be. It's him.
Oh, Nana, what are you talking about?
It's him.
Nana, calm down.
Him?
What's wrong? Oh my God, what is it? Oh my God.
She's having a heart attack. Oh God, they all are. They all can't breathe. He knows. Okay, then what did he do? What was that about? He just seemed to be observing, but he's not an observer.
Do we have a final count on the victims?
14
Ooh.
so far.
So far. Oh, Walter's learning to drive.
Swelling of the vitreous humor.
Mm-hmm.
Petechial hemorrhaging.
Yeah, not to mention the blue skin. It's definitely asphyxiation.
But asphyxiating on what?
Same here.
Anaphylactic shock. Maybe they're all having an allergic reaction to something they ate or drank.
All of
It'd be
them?
logical if they were all exposed at the same time, I suppose.
I'll have the detectives reconstruct where they all were. We may find a connection.
She was a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but there was no one there that looked old enough to have been a Holocaust survivor.
These 14 people suffocated in a room full of air.
It's got to be something they all ate or drank. There.
But they were fine before. They got to the party and they were having fun. For everyone in the family on one side to have the same allergy. Oh, it's in the inhaler, maybe. Okay, got one more victim.
So they're all blood relatives then.
Yes, all of the victims are direct descendants of Eva Stoller.
Holocaust survivor.
And anyone not related to her survived, along with one grandchild who I think might be illegitimate.
Therefore,
Right.
not a blood relative. I suspect he would have fared
So
too.
something that was done to her during the war?
Ostrich.
Oh,
Can you come here, dear? What color is this?
The blood? It's blue.
Good. I'm not imagining it. Something has
Yeah.
gone that would become a
should always rule that out.
changing. I believe these people literally suffocated from the inside out.
Their blood was unable to deliver oxygen to the body.
I understand that you were in charge of the guest list? Did you notice anyone who shouldn't have been at the wedding? Someone who wasn't invited?
No, of course, I don't know the bride's entire family. Although my mother-in-law, she was very upset with someone before. I thought she was just having a moment.
If we showed you the wedding video, do you think that you would be able to point him out?
I could try.
She just had all the rest of the candles in this place with jasmine, right? Smell that.
It's not jasmine.
This one's cinnamon.
And?
And?
I just said that.
That's the best I can do.
All right, well, upload it to the Joint Law Enforcement database, and maybe we'll get a hit.
That is interesting. You're right.
Is it?
This is our toxin. This used to be a very what is that? Hydrogen cyanide. The candle would suggest that it was activated by heat and then dispersed into the air. The Nazis. I know this was familiar.
The Nazis?
Before DNA was even discovered, Joseph Mengele wanted to create a weapon capable of targeting specific victims. A weapon capable of picking people out in a crowd, just like what happened here.
Yeah, we exactly know which people.
Science.
Mrs. Stoller was a Holocaust survivor. Do you think that that's
Relevant? I don't know.
Of course it's relevant.
You have your target group, the Stollers, and you have your control group, everyone else.
You're saying that you think this was a science experiment?
Oh,
It's a theory.
every episode has been a science experiment. I'd have thought she'd have caught on to that one by now.
Always.
I'd like a cup of tea.
Oh, hello.
And make sure the water's very hot.
Sure thing. What kind of tea?
I don't know. You pick, whichever's your favorite. Soon, all you will have are pictures.
That smells good. Is that cinnamon?
Oh dear. It's in a cafe.
Yeah.
Who's your target audience? Who's your target victim?
I was right after all. It is a targeted toxin. They all have brown eyes. That's the common genetic trait. Check the survivors, but I'm sure I'm right.
Excuse me, officer. Is that man over there? His name's Bishop.
You mean Dr. Bishop?
Dr. Bishop.
Did you need something?
No, I'm just trying to place him.
So,
He looks just like his father.
this guy knew Walter Bishop's father?
So what were you saying about him being proud of his work?
He signed it.
See this? That's a carbon chain. It's inert. It's the signature of the creator.
Are you saying that we may be able to identify whoever made this?
Well, yes, but this could be anybody. This. Well,
It's a seahorse.
a stylized S or a snake.
Actually, it looks more like a seahorse to me.
I don't know how you didn't see that.
I suppose it could.
Ah, he knows. He knows.
They called him the seahorse because he was a great swimmer.
Okay, good for him. But who is he?
My father.
Your father?
My father was a scientific pioneer at the University of Berlin.
Yes, I know, who came here in 1933, which is long before the Nazis ever took power.
It was 1943.
Ah.
Given the nature of his work, I fudged to the date.
He was a Nazi? Your father was a
What are you
Nazi?
telling me? That my grandfather was a Nazi?
Technically, yes. Actually, he worked as a spy for the Allies, sabotaging German research and smuggling scientific information to the Americans.
Oh, well, thank God for that.
So, the formula is very complex. We believe that the killer must have found it in one of the books. If we can trace the books, then hopefully we can find him.
Then do it. Quickly.
Oh, yes. Okay, then. We definitely have a Nazi here.
Freeze! FBI, get down on your knees!
Don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. I'm not a Nazi. I'm an artist. It's about the banality of evil, like the Nuremberg trials, showing history's tyrants as these regular schmucks.
That's deep.
Yeah, I think his story would have held up more credence if he wasn't wearing a swastika t-shirt. So everything points to this man being Robert Bishop, which beggars so many more questions.
Schwarzer Haut, braunes Haar, ohne Augen.
Genetic traits. Eye color, hair color, skin tone, it's the works.
Feeling the master race.
Walter, this is your sweater.
They've walked past it 100 times.
All right, go ahead.
And he's through. Easy as that, because no one's going to question candles. And that's it. His work's done. He can go home now and just see how it all unfolds.
I think I got it.
We are united by a common...
Oh God, no, it wasn't.
Where's the victim?
It's him. Did Walter do something to him?
What you did tonight
was to use the killer's DNA to target him and only him using his own toxin. If you plan to press charges, then so be it. But I don't regret what I did. There's nothing I wouldn't do.
What do you mean by that? That is so cryptic. I mean, I think he's saying that Olivia is family to him, but I'm sure there's something darker in the background of that statement. Yes, exactly. You think that is a mystery that's going to remain unsolved when you've got a photograph of it right there? Peter's going to find that photograph eventually. It was that was a rather intense episode, actually. I rather liked that, but as usual, it was all wrapped up in the last 10 minutes, and I don't like that. It seemed like the answer, the cure, the answer to all their problems just came out of nowhere. Okay then, I know this show does that. It's been doing this quite a lot. You know, expanding, then reducing the problem in the last sort of 8 minutes. Okay, but it was a good episode, and there's still, it kind of ties in with something. It made me think of when Walter Bishop was under the knife, having his memories removed by William Bell. Yeah, the fact that Walter went into that operation willingly. He said he was afraid, but he didn't look as though he was under duress or a captive of Bell. It looked like he was doing that voluntary. So it's another thing, like Robert Bishop hid his research in German books to make sure that they didn't get out into the wider world. Walter Bishop did the same thing. He hid his research in other people's brains, which sent them mad. And the most important, in possibly William Bell's head. It's all about, you know, finding all these things, finding research and discovering something really important and then trying to hide it. for the world. And this hasn't been, this is the ramble that I was going to do in another episode. This hasn't really worked out very well, because we've got people from one side of, you know, the alternative universe breaching into our universe and conducting experiments. We've got ZFT possibly on our side of the universe that may or may not be collaborating with the people on the other side. So they're getting all this research from one way or another. It seems like we should now be sort of unifying this and finding out exactly who's on what side and what is going on. Because like I said, we've got super soldiers on one side doing experiments. We've got incursions from one universe into the other, from both sides. I'm just wondering if Peter is just Walter Bishop's son. Like the original Peter was just Walter Bishop's son. And Walter Bishop was just a guy that happened to be working on some government experiments. He wasn't anybody that the world would have been shocked to hear something tragic happen to. So when Peter died, although it impacted Walter's life and his family's life, it didn't really impact the world as a whole. But maybe the Peter that he abducted from the other side was important, or was the son of somebody important, whose disappearance was felt across their world. And somehow the other side is out for revenge. You know, it was an act, considered an act of war or something like that. I don't know. I think at this stage I'm making a lot of assumptions that the world on the other side is more or less a mirror image of the world that we inhabit on this side. But it may not be. It may not be at all. And the Walter and his wife from the other side may have been totally different characters to the Walter that we know. Just a thought. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Hopefully it won't be so long next time. Until then, keep well. Bye-bye.